minute here. There we go. And let's go over here. Hey, Toto, buddy, how you doing? Hopefully you've had a good week. I haven't seen you for a while, so hopefully everything's going good, buddy. Just getting some stuff set up here for a second. Okay. Yeah, long time no see. Absolutely. I'm hoping you're. Well, you did say you're doing good, so that's good. I was wondering what happened to you. I hadn't seen you on the channel in quite a while, so I imagine you found something else. Something else to watch, though. YouTube is a very, very big place. Okay, so let me do this here. Alright, everybody, so let's get started here. I was just writing our little lists out, and hopefully you guys can hear me just fine, and we'll see what we can come up with here. So we're going to do June 22nd to June 23rd. Hey, Taiwo, how you doing, buddy? So as we're doing that, yeah, feel free to talk, feel free to let stuff go. And Taiwo, I will talk to you Thursday, and I think that'll be really fun. So let's move stuff over here, and let's do this. Doing good, doing good. Took a little break. I needed a little break, but yeah, things are good. Things are definitely good. I feel like that's normal, and I feel like psychics should be taking they should be taking more breaks, honestly. I'm not saying that because I'm lazy. Okay, part of it's because of that. But I'm saying it because we can reach burnout really easy, at least for me. So that's why I take the breaks, so that I don't hit that point, because then it's hard for me to keep going, so I take breaks. And I'm going to be staying with it. I'm going to be trying to be here as much as I can for you guys, but I will be taking breaks every so often. Alright, let's see what we can come up with here. So we'll be doing June 22nd and June 23rd. Yeah, Taiwo, it does. The funny thing about being a channel, okay, just being a someone who has psychic impressions, is that you have to let go, right, you kind of have to let go of the letting go sometimes. I feel like if we're too spiritual or we're too focused on the spiritual, it just makes it really difficult for us to focus on anything else. And spirituality is great, but by itself, I don't think that's the answer. I think everything in moderation. Let me move this up a little. There we go. Okay, and we have a new, you guys can't really, you can sort of see it, but we have a new bookcase here that we assembled, and I still have the, I don't even know if you can see it on camera. Oh, not really. Well, maybe if I cover my face up. Well, anyway, I still have the blister from assembling this thing behind us here. And so, yeah, we were a little busy. Liz is doing good, Toto. She might join us here in just a bit. I kind of just spring up, so I don't know if she's going to be here or not. But, yeah, she is doing good. Let's get these shuffled. Okay, June 22nd. So, Taiwo, in my opinion, like I said with that, I feel like taking breaks is very important and fundamental to doing this kind of work. I've worked with a lady before, and she was an incredible psychic, really, really good. Hey, Liz, and she was such a good psychic. She would do like the phone call psychic stuff, which I know can be actually scary because they charge so much money. It's to me, it's not my thing, but um, she was really good. She was a legit psychic. She's done readings for me, and but the thing was, she would go on for I think it was 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, just using her psychic ability, and she did that for a very long time. And so I'm like, okay, hey, let me help cleanse your energy field, right? I'm thinking I do energy healing, I can help cleanse her energy field. And so I did. I cleansed her energy field, and then it was about like, and I wasn't thinking of it. I wasn't thinking of it this way, so I know it wasn't psychosomatic. It wasn't something I was just making up. So I did the energy work for her, and then I'm like, okay, cool. She'll feel better, right? But then I got in the most foul mood, right? I had this anger come out of nowhere, and I was just, oh, I was so angry. And it wasn't related at all towards anything that had happened in my life. It was an emotion that came out of nowhere. And when that happened, right, I had my girlfriend help me to cleanse and to clear me. And then I felt better after the cleansing and the clearing. But there was so much energy off of that one person that I kind of absorbed it. And I got to feel the stress and the anxieties of, doing spiritual work. But in a different way. Moral of the story is if we can afford to take breaks, take breaks. Have other things that we do. If we make this everything that we do, it's kind of like the saying goes, right, that we start each day with a full cup of water, right? And as we go through the day, we pour little bits of our water, our energy, our attention onto other people or plants, right? And we nourish them and we make them grow. But some days you wake up and there's no water. There's no water that you can give to anybody else. And so it's important for us to realize on those days, or even a week or a month, we need to take time off so that we can recharge. We'll get the water back. That's not the issue. But we have to recharge. And that, to me, that's a huge thing. That's something that needs to be talked about more, you know? Yeah, Taiwo, I'm going to do some readings today. I'm just talking. I'm doing a little bit of talking here, and I'm shuffling these cards. But yeah, I'm going to do some readings. And energy healings and whatever kind of goes on that needs to, that I can help with. Oh, okay. All right, hold on. Second here. So let's do. Where's my? Oh, I got my phone. Okay. So King Kwan donated. Okay, buddy, thank you for donating. Okay, I'll put you down. You're the first one on the list. Hey, Sefwa, how you doing? So let's do this here. Let's do. Oh, and Taiwo as well. Okay, so we have King Kwan as our first one. Thank you very much, my friend, for the donation. I don't know if I've seen you on the channel before, but I do appreciate the donation. And you're first on the list. And Taiwo is second here. Okay. Oh, don't know. Okay, there we go. All right. Thank you, Taiwo. I got the donation. Okay, so we're going to start here. So, King Kwan, I'm going to have you, my friend, if it's okay, be a little bit patient with me because I'm going to do the generals. I do my generals first, and then you'll be the first one with the paid. And if for any reason we get disconnected or I can't answer your question, I give refunds. So please don't think your money's tied up with me. I do give back if for some reason I can't get to you. I'm just throwing that out there for anyone that pays. If I can't get to you, if something happens, you do get your money back. That's why I do this. That's another reason why I do Cash App and PayPal. It's because I can give you guys refunds. If you do super chats, I don't know how to refund that. I have no idea how to refund it, but I can refund Cash App and PayPal if something happens. So I'm just saying that so you guys can be aware. Another reason why we do it that way. Okay, so let me move these over here, and let's get started on our generals. Did everybody have a good week and weekend? I was gone for a little bit there, so I might need to catch up a little. Oh, okay. Awesome, King Quan. Okay. Hold on a second. Hold on one second, you guys. Oh. Oh, awesome. Okay. All right. I couldn't. There we go. You're like, holy shit. He's like, oh, that's very sweet. Very sweet, my friend. I appreciate that. Well, so we're doing the generals, everybody, and then once that's done, then yes, Liz has got the list there. And hey, Kelly, how you doing? I was watching Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee, but when I got the notification you're live, I was like, I gotta be here. There's something about your lives. Oh, Taiwo, thank you guys. I appreciate that. You're getting me. You're gonna get me as red as my shirt here, and then I'll just kind of blend in, and it'll look really strange for the camera. Okay, so let me go back here and get things all ready to go. Last week was rough for me. Felt super tired, drained, and unmotivated to do anything. That happens. That happens. The spiritual transformation part, that's something that definitely happens. We go through immense periods of, it's kind of like a purging, right? And to me, last week, that was mine. That was something I needed for me, my anxiety, my kind of depression, you know, because I go through those things as well. That's something that hit a peak. And I knew that I didn't want to come on here and do readings for you guys when I was trying to focus on myself at that time. So that's why it's interesting, but we're almost out of Mercury in retrograde. Thankfully. I'm really bad at coming up with like what happened. If I can remember, I'll tell you guys, but we had so many little weird things happen with this Mercury in retrograde. It just felt, yes, I'm feeling better, Liz. Thank you. Thank all of you guys. It's just you need time, and when you need time, take it. Like I used to be like, oh, I have to perform, I have to do this. No, it's much more important for me to be healthy and well, so that you guys can get someone who's more of a clear channel than someone who keeps pushing the midnight oil, so to speak. All right, so we're gonna do Tuesday, then Wednesday, then we're hopping to the lives. So you guys sit back, relax, stay put, fall asleep, whatever you need to do, just stay tuned. I'm popping some apple cider when we get out of Mercury retrograde. There we go. That is a way to celebrate, my friend. Maybe something I need to do too. Not apple cider, necessarily. Because I get the heartburn, you see. I don't know, does anyone else get heartburn from apple juice? Or is that just like a weird white guy thing that I've developed? Because I'm letting you in on a secret. Everything does something to me. So that's always fun. All right, so let's... All right, we're going to do... Actually, let me do it this way. So we're going to do this right here, you guys. Pile 1 or pile 2. And there is a grade. There is a letter grade that will be assigned, and you will be punished if you choose the wrong pile. I'm just saying. I don't make the rules. Hi, Samantha. You're very welcome. I'm doing my generals right now. Thank you for the donation. In the future, if you can, let's see, if you can do the Cash App or the PayPal, just in the future. Right now, you're just fine. Don't worry about that. But just in the future. That way, if we get disconnected, if something happens, I can give you your money back. No, Samantha, you are fine. You are just fine. I'm just letting you know, okay? There will be no swift punishment. Let's see. So Samantha, you are third on the list. Oh, you're fine, Samantha. Don't worry about it, okay? Everything's fine, I promise. Just for next time. I understand. Stuff like that happens. I've had a few people do that. You're not the first one. I don't know what it is, but hey, you're just fine. So do not feel, yeah, no worries there, my friend. All right, so let's get started here. So guys, pile 1 or pile 2? Let's see. Does it blend too much? It does, doesn't it? Maybe I should make it... Oh, thank you for subscribing, Samantha. I appreciate that. Okay, maybe I'll make that like a light blue color up there. It does blend too much. Okay. Thank you, Taiwo. I will, I'll do that. Angela says 2. Liz says 2. All right. So, that means we'll read pile 1 first. No, I'm just kidding. We'll read pile 2 first. So let's see what we get here, guys. Make it red. That could work too. Red could work. I'd have to change this part. Yeah, okay. I'll go into what I use to make these tomorrow and change some stuff up. Okay, so we have this for pile 2. Second chakra, Archangel Ariel. Okay. Boom, right there. So the second chakra right here, this is general reading. This is for the 23rd. So June 20 or 22nd. This is for the 22nd, and then I'm doing the 23rd. So we do 2 days because then I do my next live. So we have second chakra, Archangel Ariel. We have Justice in reverse. I gotta cover my face because the camera doesn't like it. Doesn't like to show what else is going on. So we have Justice in reverse, and if you look at the Justice card, there we go. You'll see the black and white, the duality of it, which is really good. And then we have this card too. This is the Lovers in reverse. There we go. So here's what's interesting right here. So pile 2, there could be a situation with a Libra. And I'm not just saying that for Liz. I'm not just saying that for you. I know. What I'm seeing here is, honestly, there's this kind of feeling, right? There's this kind of, I'll just read it as a general thing. Hey, Angela. So we have the Lovers in reverse, and we have the Justice card in reverse. So that means there is a Gemini. There could be a Gemini individual that's causing us pain or heartache, or there could be a love situation that's causing us pain or heartache. Or 2, Justice in reverse, a Libra in the same kind of situation. So there's a lot of air sign with this. We have the Lovers, which is Gemini in reverse. And then she gets called out. She gets called out. I'm hoping she can take a little jesting. So this right here, though, the Lovers, Justice in reverse, I'm feeling like we're wanting to move into something more, but all we're getting is simple connections. Or we could be possibly getting the sexual side of a situation, but not the depth or the deepness. That could be something that's going on too. Yeah, Angela, you can join the list. So there could just be something where there could be people that are kind of like run and done, where I would say there are these people that they're with you until they get with you and then they want out. It could be something like that. So there could be something where we could be attracting these kinds of individuals. So Tuesday, maybe something happens that sort of puts us in this situation. The best part about this, though, is that when we're in this kind of situation, we can also get out of it, or we can change how we react to it. It doesn't have to play out the same way every time. We actually can change things. We actually can try something different. We tend to think our life is Groundhog Day, when in actuality, I don't have another movie reference, but it's not Groundhog Day. This isn't a Bill Murray kind of situation. This right here, to me, is saying that we get to choose what we can do. And the reason I'm saying choose, okay, the second chakra, okay, what does this card deal with? It deals with kind of the sexual response. It deals with that, but it also deals with creativity. It deals with dancing. It deals with like hobbies, things like that. But look, the second chakra right here is primarily water. Water that is going down, like, there's choices. Water forms where it needs to form, and it takes on the shape of what it needs to take on the shape of. So this chakra is about choices. Thank you, Angela. I'll put you on the list here. Thank you very, very much. Okay. Let me just put her on the list. There we go. But because of the choices, that's what makes it interesting. So we get to decide how we respond. The universe is going to keep sending us these tests until we learn in a way where we can respond, not in the universe's favor necessarily, but we learn how to express ourselves in the way that we want to go into, which is also kind of the way the universe wants us to express ourselves uniquely, right? Each of us is unique. Each of us has our own sense of self-expression. So this is something where this card comes up, and this one is upright. The other cards are in reverse. So to me, we have to be strong, and we have to be kind of firm with our convictions. We have to be able to see kind of what's happening, what's going on. So let's move on to the second pile here. And let's see what we get. Okay. Give me a second here. And let's move on to this pile. So this one is interesting. This is, again, still for the 22nd. But this is what we got. So we have anxiety. Okay. Anxiety. The Emperor in reverse. And the Chariot in reverse. Okay, so tomorrow, here's how I'm going to read this a couple different ways, because we have signifier cards, or cards that signify something here. Yes, this one's pile 1. This is pile 1, Samantha. So when we have, so the Emperor is Aries, okay? That's what the zodiac sign that this one clarifies. The Emperor is Aries. The Chariot is Cancer. So we have kind of fire and water. Both of these are in reverse. There's an imbalance here. There is an imbalance, and it's kind of a bigger imbalance that we could be dealing with. And this could be us trying to incorporate our divine masculine back into ourselves, trying to reclaim that part of us. And the divine masculine isn't like manly, you know, hair on your chest kind of a thing. That's not what it is. What it is it's the ability to take action in a way where we're being direct, we're being forward, we're not stepping on anybody else to get there. We're allowing ourselves to go in that direction. So, what was I saying here? Let's see what else we, oh, thank you, Liz. I appreciate that, you guys. So, we have the anxiety. Obviously, I don't need to explain what anxiety is. I would hope. I would hope everyone understands anxiety. Because if you watch me long enough, you'll get to see me play that out. It'll be unconscious to me, but anxiety is just, we're worried, we're kind of, we could be, I mean, there's tons of ways anxiety presents itself. We could be hypervigilant, we could be checked out of our bodies, We could have a lot of different things going on where we're trying to control our reality, we're trying to control our world so much that if anything happens that isn't within our control, we sort of kind of lose it because we're straining ourselves to hold on so tight, right? And this is a chance where we can let go of things. The Chariot is an interesting card too. So when I say let go and we're straining and we're holding on, I want you to look at this card and tell me what you see. So this is the Chariot. I'm going to hold it upright so you guys can see the image. When it's upside down, it's kind of harder to interpret. So look at this. Okay, we have the duality concept there. There's a black horse and a white horse. But he's also holding on to them. The camera's having a hard time focusing. He's holding on to them and hoping that something will happen, hoping that something will come of this. But the only thing that happens when we hold on so tight, the only thing that happens is we're given more situations in our life where we're holding on too tight. We're attracting more and more things to be anxious about, more and more things to be stressed about. That's why I talk about healing on the channel. And I've actually got the School of Life book right behind me that talks about a lot of these kinds of, not the same way I'm talking about it. The person who is the author of that book talks about things in a more psychological way. I want to come at things in kind of a spiritual / psychological way. So this right here is a situation where we have to learn how to not do. And to me, it's a very kind of Western problem, learning to not do, because we're always told we need to do something, or we need to be someone, or we need to blah, blah, blah. We need to know what it's like to be in the silence of ourselves. We need to know what it's like to be in our own presence, to be in our own kind of soul. And in order to get there, we have to allow ourselves to go through the anxiety, but we have to see it for what it is. We have to see where that's coming from. We have to kind of address that. That's why I always talk about healing on the channel, because without the healing, we keep triggering. I'm sorry to hear that, Samantha. Maybe that's something we can help out with on the channel. Because generally there's a reason why that's hard for us, right? And so that's something that we can work on as a collective, as a group. Because I've been going through it too. I've had a lot of blessings in my life to be able to try to understand these things in a way. I still struggle with it. I still have a hard time with a lot of the things I talk about. But I feel like I know enough. Oh, thanks, King Kwan. Thank you. I kind of... Hopefully you're liking the educational part of it. But this is something that I'm passionate about because I've gone through it myself. So, moral of this right here, let go. Let go as much as you can. But then here's the other part of this right here, because a lot of people don't talk about this part. If it is difficult for you to let go, if it is difficult for you to do that, when I say let go and you can't, I don't want you to feel bad. I don't want you to beat yourself up. That's another form of letting go, is where we let go of the judgment. We let go of how it should be, what should be happening with us. And so this is something that I just feel passionate about when we're talking about this. So we have to be gentle with ourselves. And the reason I talk about gentleness is I want you, when we're talking to ourselves in our mind, I want you to imagine that you are a kid. You're someone you're responsible for taking care of. King Kwan, I hear you. I hear you. And there's a way to harmony, and it takes a while to get there. And I'm still learning too. I don't have it all figured out. Good Lord, no. No. Anyway, but when we're, like I said, treat yourself like someone you're in charge of taking care of. I want you to treat your inner self like you're 5 years old, and I know how that sounds. But I want us to use a light voice. I want us to focus on that. And then we can kind of incorporate that, and we can incorporate a healing within us. Because the reason why we're triggered, the reason why we have those responses, in my opinion, things happened when we were younger. They weren't healed. And we can focus on reparenting ourselves now. We can focus on letting ourselves be who we wanted to be, or who we wanted. So that's just something that I can feel there. So Hopefully that makes sense, you guys. Okay. All right, so I'm going to move on to Wednesday here. And remember to work on letting go. And if it's hard for you, don't work harder. If it is hard for you to let go, don't work harder on letting go, because that doesn't, right? But also be gentle with yourself. That's that one that's kind of difficult. But, and I'll say this one more time, we're getting more people watching, so I'll just say this. When we're doing something like this, the reason why it feels like it's fake or it's phony or it's corny, the reason why it feels that way is your brain is working on what's called the default mode network, DMN, right? So when we're learning a new skill, even if it's just talking to ourselves differently, our brain is connecting synapses and neuron responses. And when we're learning, that's when we feel the most confused. We don't like to be confused. The older we get set in our ways. We don't really like to learn new things. So the default mode network puts us in kind of a bubble, and it wants us to kind of stay there because then it's safe. When the brain can predict what's going to happen next, it feels safe for the most part. But over time, we can learn how to speak to ourselves better. We can learn how to be in a better place, and we can slowly get there. But that's why a lot of people are learning something. They're learning it, and they're like struggling for a long time, and then all of a sudden one day they just get it. They just understand it. And in my opinion, that's because the synapses have caught up. So when we're doing something, we have what's called a myelin sheath, okay? Or we don't have that. I'll put it this way. So when we're doing something, our neurons are firing to each other, okay? I'm doing this to show the neurons. I don't know how to, I'm not the best at charades, if you can tell. So we have two neurons, one here, one here. And what happens is the neuron is throwing a signal to this other neuron, and they're connected. And in that connection, then we can kind of identify things within ourselves. Over time, if we do something enough, those neurons, instead of having to throw a signal back and forth to each other, they create what's called a myelin sheath. They create a thin, it's like this, it's kind of like a tube, but it's immediately connected to that neuron. So you can do things quicker. It's like when you learn how to play guitar and you can play really fast and you don't even really have to think about it. It's because there's a connection. There's a myelin sheath connection. And when the myelin sheath is activated and is connected, the signal is 100 times faster. It's either 100 or 1,000 times faster than it was before, and that's why you're able to do it quicker. And that's why we're able, you can drive someplace and not even remember it or think about it. It's kind of like it becomes natural to us over time. So the myelin sheath makes it so that that's a natural kind of concept. Hopefully that wasn't boring. I tried to make it as interesting as I could. Let's see, that's 100% true. I like planning and knowing what's going to happen because I don't trust the unknown. And that in itself, I understand that. That makes a lot of sense. We don't know the unknown. It wouldn't be the unknown then, would it? But I do like that you guys are listening, like you're hearing what I have to say and you're not trying to rush me on the readings. That's my favorite part. I like talking to you guys. I like doing this. And I'm still learning and growing. So, okay. Let's shuffle these up, see what we can do. Okay, here we go. I've learned that the things you need to hear the most isn't when you want it. Yep. The universe gives us what we need, not what we want. A lot of the time. A lot of the time. Okay, one more. Let's do one more shuffle on these ones. Nice and crispy shuffle there. Love the sound of a nice crispy shuffle here. Let's hear it one more time. Oh. Thank you, Angela. I've thought about doing ASMR, but I get... Thank you, that was very sweet. That takes effort. It takes effort to not want to take control all the time. To me, and I know this sounds kind of strange, right? I might think about it, you guys. I might think about it. The thing that I want you guys to think of, if this helps, is if you're trying to look for like an animal symbolism of kind of what we're talking about when we're talking about the divine masculine and the divine feminine, the symbol of the spider is both of those. And I'll explain why the symbol of the spider is both of those archetypes. The divine masculine is to do. The divine feminine is to be receptive. So between those two, you have an ebb and a flow. You have the yin and the yang, the dark and the light, right? And what's going on here with the spider? So what does the spider do first? There's several species of spiders, but I'm going to be talking about the web-building spiders. They find a nice corner somewhere, and they weave a web. That is the action. That is the divine masculine. After they have weaved the web, they wait for something to land in it. That's the divine feminine. You can think spiders are gross or creepy, but they do represent that. Because after the spider has done, the spider waits. It's patient. It knows it's done what it needed to do. It's patient, and it waits for something to come to it. So that's where we can have that flow. We have that divine feminine, we have the divine masculine. So does that make sense to you guys? Hopefully that analogy made some sense. I'm going to do, so you guys pick pile 1, pile 2. Either one of them will lead back to you, hopefully. Samantha says it makes sense she's sticking to 1. That hit hard, King Kwan? Okay. Sticking to 1, so we'll just do pile 1 here. So let's do pile 1, pile 2. I agree. I wouldn't want to have a spider as a pet or close to me, but they are interesting from afar. Way back. Like I can barely recognize it. You know, I gotta like really look. And then I'm cool with them. Everything is a part of that of our universe. There you go. Well, some of the spiders are in another country, and I am very glad. Like the banana spider. If you guys don't want to see the freakiest thing ever, don't type in banana spider on Google search and then hit search and then look at the pictures. I kind of want you to do it. They're freaky looking. They're sinister. I don't know. They're fascinating to me. Spiders are interesting, but from afar. Abs 100%. 100%. Okay, let's do pile 1. Look up the ones that are from Brazil, Liz, not the ones that are from Florida. The Brazilian banana, is it Australian? No, Australian banana spider. Yeah, they're interesting, right? If they bite you, you'll die. They're very poisonous and very, very, like they're unnaturally aggressive. That scares the shit out of me. I don't know. Anyway, enough about me. Okay, so pile 1. We have got the Ace of Pentacles. I know, everything poisonous is in Australia, even the people. It's insane. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just making a joke. It's all desert out there. There's nothing. It's a scary place. Okay, so we have the Ace of Pentacles right here. We have Strength in reverse. Oop. So I'll show you this card upright. So you'll notice This one's a little bit different, but the strength card usually shows a woman with a lion, and you'll notice that the lion is on a leash and the woman is holding the leash, but the leash is there to show the connection, not to show that the woman is controlling the lion or the lion's controlling the woman. It's to show that there's a connection to this strength. That's what it's there to show. It's not a sign of restraint. However, though, in reverse, strength in reverse would be kind of taking control in a place where we don't need to, trying to tamper with things when life kind of has it handled. Life has most things handled. Then we have this. So this is for the 23rd, you guys. Then we have this card, 4th chakra, Archangel Raphael. Okay, so when you see this Ninja Turtle, right? Because he's green and his name's Raphael. It's a bad joke. Okay, so when you see this angel right here, this one is the one that is heart-centered, heart-based. So the 4th chakra is the heart. What have we been talking about this whole time? The heart is about letting go, okay? And I'll do this really, really quick. We have 7 chakras in the human body. Can you imagine if I just stopped talking? No, we have 7 chakras in the human body. Okay, we have the first one, the root chakra, earth. Okay, the second one is the sacral chakra, water. Third one is the solar plexus chakra, which is fire, and the 4th one is air, which is the heart chakra. Okay, I'm just going to be touching on these 4 now. So when we're talking about this, so the root chakra is based on security. So the root chakra is the red one. Root chakra is the red one, Liz. And the soul star chakra is like a wine color, but that's something that's another. There's different chakras for different bodies. The soul star is one that people have talked about a lot, but that's not for this time. That's something we can talk about a little later. But that one is also kind of a reddish color, so that's why I brought it up. 4th chakra, Archangel Raphael, or the heart chakra. So we are born. We exist. Okay, the root chakra, we are existing. We're kind of doing what we need to do, but we're existing. We're in this thing for all it's worth, damn it. You know, and no one's getting out alive. Right? No one's getting out of life alive, so I take it so seriously. Now, so we have the root chakra. Okay? This is about existing. Primary existing. Generally, this is developing when we are very, very, very young in life. Like babies. Up until, I think, age 2, if I'm not mistaken. Can't remember for sure on that one. Then we have the 2nd chakra. This is water. Water is about making choices. So the 1st chakra is about existing, kind of establishing an identity. The 2nd chakra is about us making choices. So we have the earth chakra, our identity. Oh, it's earth. And then we have the water chakra, right? Little kind of swimmy things. These are choices. This is us not being earth anymore. We're allowing ourselves to move. Okay? Then we have the solar plexus chakra. That is fire. Solar, soul, meaning it's kind of like soul means sun. S-O-L means sun. Solar plexus is a fire. It's like the sun kind of chakra. This chakra is about those choices that we made earlier. This chakra is about sticking with them. This chakra is willpower. This chakra is purpose. That is what this chakra is all about. It's fire. It's passionate. It's in there. Okay? Then we have the 4th chakra, which is the heart chakra. This chakra is about us no longer using our willpower when it's not appropriate. Now we're learning to let go. We're learning to let go and to let things happen. The heart chakra is about letting go and letting things happen. We can't force someone to love us. We can't force someone to do anything. But what we can do is we can let things come to us. The more we try and force it, the more we reinforce to the universe that we need to keep learning this lesson. And the harder we will have to force things again and again and again. That's generally how this goes. So that's what I'm talking about here. Okay. I forgot the rest of what we were saying, but no, I'm just kidding. So we have 4th chakra, Archangel Raphael. We have strength in reverse. We have Ace of Pentacles. So right here, that's kind of what we're learning. It's, again, kind of the letting go thing. This time there could be a, let's see, I think strength is Leo, if I'm not mistaken. So there could be a Leo in our life that is very hard to deal with. But maybe we have to partner up with this person, or maybe we have to do something where we need to learn a lesson. There could be something coming out of this where, because we have the Ace of Pentacles, so maybe a job or something is coming out of this. So we could be going for a job interview, we could be having something happen, but maybe the person that we're getting this kind of information from isn't necessarily in a good mood or in a good place when we meet them. So fourth chakra, Archangel Michael, would be us establishing that people are people. And what we can do is focus on what we're doing. If other people are doing their things, okay, you guys do that over there. I'm going to be me. I'm going to focus on my stuff, right? And so to me, that's what we need to do. A lot of us grew up, I feel like a lot of us grew up kind of being people pleasers. And when that happened at a very young age, we don't form a sense of identity, usually. And that's where these kind of clashes come in later in life, is because we don't understand who we are yet. We didn't have that kind of voice. And so we've given away ourselves in trying to please other people. But in turn, it always comes back to us not feeling fulfilled, not feeling like this is what we want to do. And it's because we've let other people cross a line that we didn't know how to set. And so that's why I talk about reparenting, learning how to love ourselves. That's kind of what I want this channel to be about primarily. Focusing on that. So you guys hold tight 1 second, and then we'll get to this next pile. I gotta go grab a drink. There you go, yeah. Samantha, I don't know you personally yet, but there's still time. So you guys hold on, hold tight for just a second. I'm just going to grab some water and I'll be right back. So let me do this here. Toto, my friend, you are bored, you say. I wish it wasn't that way, buddy. I do. Sometimes when we're doing this kind of stuff, it's a little bit much, you know? So, okay, King Kwan. So you were talking about how being a people pleaser takes away from self-awareness. What is an example of that as a child? Is it being too obedient? Yes. It's being too obedient. It's looking for our parents to, like, being hyper aware of their emotional state. So if we're very hyper aware of the emotional state of our parents, that can make us into people pleasers because we don't want to do something that could affect somebody, right? And so we learn that there could be volatility in the house, and instead of rocking the boat, we learn to be the good kid. We learn to try to not get in trouble. We learn to try to not make noise. We learn to try to be as invisible as we can because that's what they would want us to do, right? But that's unhealthy because it takes away from self-expression. Children are going to be loud. Children are going to be noisy. That's kind of the point. They're expressing themselves. They're working on self-expression. They're working on what they can do with the world. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. If we were in childhood way too hyper aware and fixated on what mom and dad were doing at any time, and we felt unsafe or we felt like there were certain things we just couldn't go to them about, like at all, because they would get mad at us or they would dismiss us, then that's kind of what I'm talking about. Because people pleasing makes it so that we'll never have a person be mad at us. We'll try our hardest to never have anyone be mad at us or upset with us. And if anyone does have a problem with us, we will lose our minds because we want to be liked, because we feel like that gives us a sense of control. But it's just kind of perverting that sense because it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel like a real thing. It doesn't feel like it's attainable. And eventually we'll tire of playing this game with ourselves and we'll seek what is really going on. But it takes time, and everyone will arrive at that in their own time. People that have gone through this. Hopefully that kind of helps answer your question, King Kwan. And please feel free, you guys. When we're doing this, ask questions. The only time we charge, the only time this comes up, the Cashapp and PayPal only, is when your question is personal to you. If your question is personal to you, Cashapp and PayPal. If you want to just ask questions, please feel free to do so. If it's something that the group can understand or something that we can talk about, if that makes sense. So hopefully that kind of clears that policy up a little bit. Okay, so let's do this here. Let's put these away. Let's address this next pile. And then we'll go on to the live readings here. Again, thank you guys so much for being patient with me. It makes it so that I really enjoy doing this because I feel like you guys enjoy it too, so I love that. Okay. Let's move on to pile number 2. Let's see what we got. So, we have the garden and the gate in reverse. And then we have the page of swords in reverse. Okay. And then we have the 3 of pentacles. You know it's pentacles because there's pentagrams, right? You know it's pentacles because there's those stars. So this is a good card. Page of Swords in reverse, that's a signifying card. That's something that shows that there's somebody coming along, possibly. So on Wednesday, it could be a younger air sign that's testing us. Okay? If this isn't us doing this to ourselves, there could be a younger air sign coming in that is testing us, that is kind of poking and prodding at things that maybe they shouldn't be poking and prodding at, right? So there could be someone that comes in and maybe they kind of test our ego. They test our patience. There's someone that comes in that kind of stirs the pot, so to speak. So on Wednesday, we could have a situation like that. When I see the garden and the gate in reverse, and it, like I said, air sign, so Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini, individual possibly. The garden and the gate in reverse, this is something where we could have. I always view this card, to me, I view this card as the grass is greener on the other side. So we could be envious of what other people have, and maybe we're focused too much on sort of keeping up with the Joneses to try and focus on what we need or what we want as an individual. Society tells us what we want over and over again. It's the new iPhone, or it's the new, did I say iPhone? I'm out of examples, but you get what I'm saying. Society tells us if we have this, we'll be happy. then we get the thing. And then if I have this, I'll be happy. I've literally been more happy when I was waiting for the item to arrive at my doorstep than I was to receive it. To me, the tracking part was way more exciting than actually getting the item. So that's something where I feel like that we've made our external world our base of happiness, and because of that, there's no room for internal growth because we're using the external world to validate our happiness and to validate and take over us, right? So that's something that I feel like is something we should be focusing on, is not allowing possessions to cloud our judgment, okay? That being said, I'm still a human, and as a human, I am a collector of various oddities, so I'm not saying don't have possessions, because that doesn't sound very fun either, but I feel like when you let your possessions own you, then there's a problem. When you become possessed by your possessions, when you feel obligated to your possessions, then I feel like there's an issue, right? I feel like there's something kind of going on, because it shouldn't be that way. So hopefully that kind of makes sense going into that. All right, so let's put these away here. There it is. Just gonna have a little water here. Hold on. And please know, you guys, I'm taking time getting to your questions. I'm still gonna be here for another 3 hours. I think over 3 hours. Yeah, I'm gonna be here for about 3 hours. So there's no rush, at least for me. I know you guys are probably itching to get your questions answered, but I'm a bit of a talker if you didn't know. Just a little bit of a talker. All right. Well, Samantha, don't worry about that. Worst case scenario, I'll give your money back. I promise. But I should be able to get to you. So, King Quan, what is your question? Okay. Just stay up for a little bit, okay? A little bit longer. And we'll see what King Quan says here, and then I'll just start going down the list. How does your friend Alex feel towards you after your fight? So, King Quan, we will use these cards here. This is the Energy Oracle. Okay? This one I feel like kind of dives into the heart of things. So let's see how your friend feels after your fight. Let's see what we can get here. Oh yeah, retrograde has been nightmare fuel, for sure. Always have the weirdest things happen in retrograde. I should write everything down, because you just get weird things happening. Okay, let's shuffle one more time here. Yes, liking and subscribing would help support the channel quite a bit. Even though you guys are already supporting the channel. By being a little too much. You guys are awesome. I love it. I love the support you guys give. Okay, so King Quan, let's see how your friend's feeling. Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, so we have strategy in reverse. Okay. So showing that things are kind of off course now. maybe you had plans or maybe something fell through. I mean, obviously you had a fight, but I'm wondering if maybe there was plans or there was something going on beforehand. Because then I get the hostilities card. Hostilities. I feel like I don't need to go into that one as much. But I get man holding a coin in reverse. So right now, this person is not thinking... I feel like they're not thinking clearly because this thought pattern here, the hostilities and like this, I feel like this person is thinking of you, of trying to see, I feel like they're trying to see how they were right in the situation right now. So this must have been, maybe it's recent, I don't know, but the anger here seems like it's up pretty high. So I'm saying here that I feel like this person is thinking, they're trying to think how they could be better than the situation. I don't feel like necessarily, I feel like there could be some emotional going through it, right? But for right now, it feels like we're kind of stunted and we're stuck in this kind of state where this person is just upset and angry. And I feel like the best thing to do is to let the person be upset and angry and then be rational eventually again. Kind of let things stew for a while if something happened. But that's what I'm seeing here, is that there's a... Well, right there. There's hostilities, right? So this person just feels either not supported, or this person feels like they just can't. Okay. Okay. Alright, so that's what I'm seeing here, is the person is still pretty fuming about it. So there's, let this steam on the tea kettle settle, my friend. I wasn't expecting it to rhyme that much, but it did. So let that settle down, and then I feel like there could possibly be a more rational conversation. But right now, it feels like... Right, there you go. There you go. See, that right there, King Kwan? That's good. That's emotional observance. And you're right. Some people will take the anger to feel something because they can't feel anything else. So they use that as an out. They use that as a like a getting out tool. I feel like a lot of people, if you guys like sports, that's cool. I don't have a problem with that. But I feel like a lot of men attach their emotional identity onto sports. So that when the team scores, they can scream and be happy. But when they're losing, boy, they can be mad, and there's a reason to be mad. There's a reason to be upset. And I feel like they identify emotionally with those kinds of things to make it so that it's, well, you guys understand what I'm trying to say. They make it so that they can express themselves in a healthy way through that lens. Because it's okay if someone cries over a game. However, it's not okay if someone just cries, right? So there has to be something where there's a reason for it. Men have to have a reason for emotion. Well, there has to be a reason for this. So hopefully, King Kwan, that kind of helps make sense to you. Okay, so Taiwo. Can't remember if it's Taiwo or Taiwu. I want to say it right. But you're up, my friend. You can get your question answered and then go back to your Bruce Lee movie. You're very welcome, King Kwan. Thank you, my friend. The first pronunciation, Taiwo, was the first one I said, I think. If your name isn't Greg, I do not know how to pronounce it. That's how white I am. I just don't. I don't know how to pronounce anything that is not in my very small sphere of influence. So I am so sorry that I have trouble with that. And my brain has a hard time with stuff, with names. So, no, it's nothing personal if I get your name wrong, guys. A general reading? Sure. Let's see, what cards do we want to use? Let's do these ones. So this is the Fountain deck. Fountain Tarot deck. I have to put it in front of my face. There. This one right here, this will be This will be a good one, I think. Let's see what we can get. Okay. And if you guys want more of me for some reason, you can feel free to check out the Patreon that I have. There will be videos that are only posted through Patreon, so make sure to check those out. I'm going to be talking about a few things, but I think my next video is going to be on my ayahuasca journey. So if you guys want to watch my experiences on ayahuasca, it's me talking. It's not like a documentary style thing or anything like that, but I'll just be talking about my experience with it, and maybe you can decide yourself if that's something that sounds kind of interesting. But that will be the next one I talk about. Okay. So, general reading for Taiwo. All right, here we go. Okay, so your general reading became ungeneralized right away, Taiwo, and I'll explain to you what that means after I find out for myself. So we have this right here. We have Six of Coins in reverse. Okay. Then we have Queen of Coins in reverse. Okay. And then, now, I'm going to let you guys guess. I'm going to let you guys guess the suit of what this is. There's no time. I'll just show you. You won't believe it. It is the Five of Coins in reverse. So there's nothing but coins here. So right now, I feel like we're focusing on either housing, we're focusing like on where we live, where we're going to live, maybe working a job, having something that we have. And right now, we have the Five of Coins in reverse, which is actually a good thing in this situation. The other cards, though, I'm feeling like we're getting impatient, possibly with finances, or we're getting impatient with having something come through for us. When I see the Queen of Coins in reverse, that's not being able to wait. That feels like we're being impatient. When I see the Six of Coins in reverse, that's us not waiting for the harvest, again, kind of that impatient energy. So I feel like we're planting seeds, but we're not letting it grow, so to speak. So we have the Five of Coins in reverse, and so the Five of Coins upright is kind of like a card of financial ruin, right? The Five of Coins in reverse, I feel like we're trying to fix our mentality, possibly on money or on a job or on that kind of situation. So to me right now, we're focusing on how to fix our mentality. I feel like that's kind of our endeavor, is like I want to make sure that I'm doing this right. I want to focus on that. Finances was an issue recently. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing here. When I see the Five of Coins in reverse, though, that to me is saying that things are working out. I do feel like it's slow. And I feel like because it's slow, it's harder to see movement. When something is moving slowly or really slowly, we don't necessarily see movement. But over time, right? If we just walked one step a day for our entire lives, I have no idea where I'm going with this, but if we just walked one step a day our entire lives, and that was like our whole thing, and we lived to be like 80 or 90 years old, by the end of our life, we would have walked at least a few miles, if not more. So there's movement, but it's very slow. So we want to have a more steady income, or we want to have something that's not like trickling. We want to have a faucet that's running over, so to speak. So I feel like that will happen. Again, it takes time. It does take time. And I don't know, Taiwo, if you're a fan of like Naruto, the anime. I don't know if you're into that, but for some reason I had like the music playing in my head. I don't know if you're into anime or if you're into anything like that. but I was hearing the music playing in my head. I was hearing like inspiring kind of things. So I don't know why that was there. Just thought I would throw that out. But that's what I'm getting, Taiwo, for what you have here. So does that make sense? Sort of allowing things to come to us is kind of the moral here. Haven't seen Naruto. Okay. So that must have been something for me. That's something that I've watched. So to me, I'm feeling like that inspiration is coming in, and that's good. I'm feeling like there's a sense of gathering power, gathering steam. So it feels like we have more of a plan now. I'm feeling like there's more of a plan now. So that to me tells me that things are going to go well. Naruto is about the right. Last week you felt super slow. So know that we go through phases, and know that there are some phases where it's very, very, very slow, right? A lot of people don't know this, but glass is a liquid. It will slowly collect down into the bottom. Like in super old houses, you can sometimes see where the glass is kind of seeped together, and it's like created this little clump down at the bottom in like really old houses, because glass flows downward, but it does it incredibly slowly. So sometimes life is like that. Sometimes life is as slow as glass, but other times it kicks ass. So we can take that as it. Okay, so hopefully that answers that question. So Taiwo, you have another question for me, my friend. I mixed my decks. They told me this would happen. Yep. Ah, there it is. We found the culprit, you guys. Heading on back to base. All right. All right. I'm gonna just do this. Okay. A old friend of yours came back recently, then disappeared again. What are her intentions? That's a good question. Let's see. I'm a little burpy today. I don't know what's going on. You guys wanted a show, you'll get one. It won't be good, but it'll be something. Okay, so what are your friend's intentions? What are your friend's intentions? It always does. Mercury in retrograde will trigger things in us until we've learned to heal them. And it does it over and over again. If you imagine Mercury in retrograde kind of puts us on a spiral, each time the spiral comes around, the spiral gets, it gets tighter and tighter, right, until we've solved the problem. So the lessons get harder and harder that we learn from Mercury in retrograde, because Mercury in retrograde is like, it's kind of like Mercury in retrograde is the spring cleaning that you never did, and it just comes in and it starts smacking you around. It's like, look at this mess. Look at this. Look what you did. But it's trying to bring your attention to a part of you that we could have been ignoring. So that's why Mercury in retrograde is so damn hard sometimes, because we like to put things in the closet and not ever look at them. Okay. What are Taiwo's friends? I think so, King Kwan. Yeah. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Okay, yes. Taiwo. Avatar: The Last Airbender is amazing. Honestly, that show. Oof, that show is some good stuff. All right, Taiwo. So let's do this here. This is interesting, Taiwo. So we have this. This is you right here with your friend. We have the thinking man in reverse. Right? It's all good, Samantha. Hold on. Okay. So when we have the thinking man in reverse, I'm going to focus on me. Oh, there we go. When we have the thinking man in reverse, I feel like we're putting a lot of our attention onto this issue, and we don't know exactly what to do about it. So it's kind of like we're stuck in a situation. I feel like we're thinking about thoughts. We're thinking about thinking. That's kind of where the thinking man is. We don't know what steps to take, or we don't know what to do or what to think, because things kind of just come in and out, in and out. So this is what I get, though. So this was you in the situation itself, something that I'm feeling here. We have storm warning. So this, to me, I'm wondering what the connection to the friend was that came in. When I see the storm warning card, it feels like maybe there could be something here. Maybe something to be cautious about. But then I get door to spirit is the next card. So I'm going to say this. I'm wondering if this friend introduced you to a spiritual concept, maybe by proxy, or if this friend was a lesson for you in a certain way that had you learn a certain lesson, like maybe a tougher lesson. When I see storm warning and door to spirit, it feels like we took what we learned from this possible connection and we tried to do the best we could with it. So that's something I'm curious about. You let me know. Okay, so that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. Her abandoning you, you tried to make the best of that situation. So that's why the storm warning is coming up here. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that too, Ty. I am sorry to hear that. So that's what I'm feeling is going on here, though. This person by proxy taught you a painful lesson. They don't need to be in your life anymore if they left you, if they kind of abandoned you. I would say really, really be careful with this connection if it's something where you're really not sure. If they sincerely reached out, if this is the first time maybe they've done something like this, we could possibly look at it. But if they've done things like this in our life other times, or they bail, they tend to bail frequently when things get rough, that would be something I would look at as a pattern. And then kind of look back to the past to that pattern and be like, well, it played out that way before, so um, that's up to you, though. That's totally on you. But when I see the storm warning card, there was a rough relationship. There's a reach out. There's something going on there. So I would say take that with. Then she came back, but I didn't know. Then they came back again, and I was vulnerable with her. Then boom, she's gone again. It sounds to me like it's someone that doesn't know how to handle emotion in the same way that someone who's more spiritually developed or someone who's focusing on their own emotion. Um, Sorry, there's little weird sounds, so I'm looking over here. It would be something that I would say definitely exercise a lot of caution with this, because right now, Taiwo, I feel like you're going through a process of integration and transformation. And of course, she reaches out when it's the Mercury in retrograde. Of course, she does this. So my kind of response is let Mercury in retrograde kind of settle, kind of see what's going on there, because you don't want to have a person in your life where you're kind of focusing on them a lot, but then they're not giving anything back to you, so to speak. If they leave you high and dry, like they come back and they leave, they come back and they leave. Maybe when we're older, maybe when things make a little more sense, right? Um, this person could come back and stay in our lives, possibly. But right now, it feels like you're in a very tender space, and I feel like you need to focus on that kind of healing journey, right? That's something that I'm feeling. Um, that's more from an advice perspective. That's not psychic. That's just me talking from an advice perspective. But this is what I'm seeing here. So just be careful in this kind of situation. Perfect. Okay. So do you have a third question, Taiwo? Hey, buddy. You're welcome, Taiwo. Okay, go for it. And then we're on to Samantha. Yeah, King Kwan, that's a little more unusual. That's really weird. Question 3. Any updates? Well, let's see if we can find anything here. Yeah, that's weird. That's really weird. They're just like, well, King Kwan, maybe they're still there. They're playing hide and go seek, and you're not aware. You're not aware that that's what they're doing. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Mercury in retrograde's crazy. Weird things happen. That's why I want to move away. There you go. Yeah. My dad jokes are bad jokes. Sad joke. Okay, so let's move on here, and we're going to look at a update on. I'm going to read the question again. Update clarification on my graduate scholarship and dream graduate school. So let's see what we got here, my friend. Let's actually do a couple more shuffles. What is that? Is it this? Yes, I do, Taiwo. I do indeed. I do. I remember. I definitely remember. I try to remember most things on the channel, but I can only remember so much. All right. So let's see. Okay, Taiwo, and what's the research for you? Is it kind of what we discussed a little? Because I've got some stuff here, so we'll talk about this when you typed your stuff out here. Mm. There you go. Okay, Taiwo, and how often do you do this? How often do you reaffirm and give uh, appreciation? Yeah, I know, buddy. I know. I know. My cat's down here. Okay. So Taiwo, what I'm seeing here. Okay, so felt super stagnant. Right. I can understand that. So I'm getting these cards here. All of these are in reverse, and I will explain. Man holding a coin in reverse, fourth chakra archangel Raphael in reverse, and then I'm getting man. Or wait, I already read that one. And then I'm getting magician in the mirror in reverse. And to me, the magician in the mirror always reminds me. So, how could I say this? This is kind of a hard part for this part in our journey right here. The magician in the mirror, all of these are in reverse. So when I'm looking at this, the magician in the mirror reminded me of Harry Potter, where Harry Potter is staring in the mirror and this is when he was younger. I think the mirror comes into play again later on, but he's looking into the mirror and Dumbledore tells him that mirror shows you what you desire most. And Harry sees his parents, right? But it's showing him what he desires most. But Dumbledore said not to stare too long into the mirror because it's a world of illusion. It's kind of that kind of world, so it can warp your mind. Sort of like how VR will do it here in a few years. Anyway, so we have the magician in the mirror, fourth chakra archangel Raphael in reverse, and then we have man holding a coin in reverse. So when we do this kind of work, the manifestation, I've said this before, if we really need to do this, if we really want to manifest something, Taiwo, make, and this is my suggestion, okay, you don't have to take this, this is just from me to you, make a grand kind of offering, make a grand gesture of a ritual if you want to. Put all of your heartfelt intention, put everything you've got into this ritual. Light candles, do whatever you feel would be good, have it be a full-blown ritual, you're in it, okay? When you're doing everything, emulate the emotions. When we're focusing on having this happen, emulate that. You're doing that part right. And I want you to make it as grand as you want to make it. Hell, if you want to wait until it's the 4th of July and light fireworks for it, and really let loose with it, make it as grand as you want it to be. And the reason I'm telling you this is because after you do it, I want you to try to put it out of your mind. I want you to send it off, and I want that to be you saying goodbye to it. These things work when they are not being under supervision. If we come back to it every week, or if we come back to it every 2 weeks, or if we keep coming back to it, we're not allowing it to do its job. When we're not observing it, it starts to take place. It's like quantum physics. But in this situation, when we're not observing it, we're allowing it to grow, right? The seed, right, in nature, the seed grows in complete darkness. We can't see what the seed looks like before it sprouts out of the soil, but it's growing. We need to have faith after we do this that it will work out. If you're still doing it over and over again, you're feeling in your mind like there's a chance it won't happen. And that's going to make you want to feel like you, right? It puts you in that situation. I understand we're in a situation where we're waiting and we feel like this can help reduce our anxiety, but we're not allowing it to take place because we keep checking on it. And every time we check on it, we lose a little bit of progress, a little bit of progress. Or even if we do it a couple times a week, we need to let it do its thing. The universe knows what it's doing. We don't. We have no idea. The universe has it figured out for us. And I know that's probably not what you want to hear. That's what I'm seeing here, though. You did back off on doing it instead of doing it every night or every other night. You did back off. I'm saying do this grand ritual and really back off from it. Like, let it do its thing. No more manifestation exercises, no more anything, and see how that plays out. Because we're trying to control the universe in a direction, and I'm feeling like the universe knows what's best for us, and it's going to decide what's going on. And if we let it go gently, it can find where it needs to go. But right now, it's kind of like we're taking that. And okay, so when I talk about making an offering, this can be generally offerings are for spirits, but we can do them for work too. An offering is something where we're giving something to gain something, kind of. Sometimes we offer something to a spirit to gain its assistance. Sometimes we... My throat. Hold on, guys. Ooh. So when we offer something, we're giving it away. And it can be anything. It can be food items. It can be something that you prepared yourself. The more energy that goes into it, the better. I feel like, so if you made a meal and you offered part of it to this kind of thing, if you do something and you offer it, you spend your time on it, you offer it, you do a ritual, and then you let that be the end. And when I say you offer something, leave it out for 24 hours or 48 hours. Let kind of the essence of that offering, like leave it where it is. Let the essence of that offering get soaked up by the universe, by that, and then after that you can toss it, you can throw it away. But the offering can be food, it can be something we make, it can be, it can be coffee or tea, or it can be any number of things. And we're inviting a spirit or we're inviting something to work with us to help us achieve our goal, right? So after we let it go, after we do this ritual, we do the offering, we do all of this stuff, we let it go. It lives its life, right? We kind of have to, at that point, we have to be the unobtrusive parent. We don't try to dictate or guide it. We just are like, well, they're out in the city somewhere. I don't know where they are, but I'm sure they're fine. We have to kind of be like that with this. We have to let the universe take it and do what it wants with it. And we're not able to come along for that ride because we're too attached. We have an agenda. We want, we're a little too attached to our main characters, to our lives, to our outcomes, our personal outcomes. And the universe is not. The universe is not trapped in anything. So it's kind of best to just give it to the master over there and let him do his thing, or let it do its thing. It's not a him. And that's a title that's something for another time. I believe the universe is much more than a gender qualification or anything like that. But so the card energy here, we have the Magician and the Mirror in reverse. We have the fourth chakra, Archangel Michael in reverse. And then we have Man holding a coin in reverse. So I feel like we're holding on too tightly. We're holding on too tightly to the outcome. And it's making it so that if you imagined that let's imagine that your dream was a puppy, you're choking it to death because you're holding on too tightly. And because of that, you're not allowing other forces to come into play and to do their thing, because in an ego way, and this isn't a bad thing, this is something all humans do, I'm not calling you out, but the ego wants to take control. It feels like it knows best. And it does good most of the time. But this is something that the ego kind of, we kind of say, hey, you want to go sit in the corner? You want to go over there? That's where we're kind of focusing on this. You're doing it. You're doing the right thing, but the ritual marks the end of whatever it is you're wanting to accomplish. The ritual marks the end, and we send it off. And from there, it can fulfill what it needs to fulfill. So that's what I'm seeing there. And the man holding a coin in reverse, to me, is someone who's kind of holding on. Man holding a coin upright is someone I feel like who's kind of confident, self-assured. They know what they're doing. The man holding the coin in reverse, I feel like he's kind of careless, or he doesn't know what's going on. And we're in that state where we're always learning. And so this right here, I feel like, is a lesson for you to learn. There's no shame here. I'm hoping you're not getting that I'm trying to shame you or trying to make you feel bad, because I'm not. I'm just trying to say that I've struggled with these same kind of concepts before, and it sounds hard. It sounds hard to just let go, but that's the way we can attract things. I want you to think of this analogy right here. If my fist is closed, this looks threatening right now, anyone that just stumbles on this channel. If my fist is closed, if you try to hand me something, I can't take it. I can't, my fist is closed. I can no longer hold anything else other than my own hand. And the more I clench, I can't hold anything. This doesn't help me. In fact, if I hit someone with a really tight fist, if that was the end result was violence, I'd hurt myself. We have to be loose. We have to let ourselves be loose. We have to be like the wind. But that comes with time. That comes with practice, because we are attached to the outcome. So it's difficult to do that. I understand. I feel like you'll say, well, it's something I really want, right? Awesome, Taiwo, awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to it too. I really am. Okay, so Samantha, what was your question? I'm going to go on to her question. I know she's getting tired. Hopefully she's still there. And again, Taiwo, thank you for letting me do that, and thank you for donating to the channel. I appreciate that, my friend. You're very welcome. Very, very welcome. Awesome, you beat the system. So go ahead and ask your question. Okay. Well, Samantha, to me it sounds like so far he's being incredibly avoidant. He's being non-committal and avoidant. Like, because he's still with you, but he's not with you. Do you know what I mean? Like he's... Anyway, let's look at his feelings, though. We live separately right now. That's what I mean, though. There's still like a binding, like the marriage, right? But there's nothing holding it together. So it's kind of like a non-committal commitment, so to speak. Almost like, anyway, I'll look at the cards. I'll look at the cards here. What are his feelings? What are his feelings? Let's look at that. Let's see what we got here. What are his feelings? Okay, so here's what I'm getting right here. So I get this card. This is, it's Angel of Love in reverse. I'll explain that one. But then I get these cards too. I get Door to Personal Healing and Happiness. And I get 6th Chakra Archangel Metatron. Okay. And I get Action. So right now, I'll address his feelings right now. I'm feeling like he doesn't know necessarily what to do. Like I am getting a sense he's distancing himself, and I am feeling like he doesn't want back in to the relationship. But what I am feeling is that this person tends to, maybe in the relationship, and maybe you can help me with this. I feel like they treat you more like property than they do like a person. So when they're stalking your Instagram, when they're doing that, it's like a form of trying to possess you and like your actions. So it's kind of like they're wanting to control, but from a distance, or they're wanting to see from a distance. Okay. So I can almost guarantee if there was another person that this person didn't recognize, or another person that this person did recognize, and you were being close with that person, kissing them on the cheek or doing something, that this person would then try to pop back out of the woodwork. He treated you horribly, but said I treated him badly. Right. So that's a sign right here that we're talking about. This is, it sounds to me like if there's not full-blown narcissistic abuse, that this person has very strong narcissistic traits. So this person will try to minimize your problems and try to maximize theirs. Whenever you have a problem, they'll squash that down, try to get rid of it, won't really listen. And whenever they have a problem, you better drop everything in your life and focus on them, and only on them. Because to do anything else would be a horrible thing. How could you treat me like that? That's the way this person could be. Or they're just cold and they don't talk to you. And they use it as a form of punishment. And that's another thing too. That's narcissistic abuse as well. That's something that... So, after Samantha, King Kwan, I'm on to Angela. So, and then after Angela, there's no one else on the list. Okay, so that's making sense, Samantha. Okay. So, this person is someone who will try to take your energy to try and fulfill their own happiness. This person doesn't know how to self-validate. They don't know how to do that. So they have people as fuel or supply. And if you disagree with this person or their ideals, they toss you to the side. They say, well, I don't need you anyway. And they do it in such a way that it's incredibly damaging. And generally, a narcissistic person or a person with narcissistic traits is attracted to someone who has empathy. If someone is an empath, usually the narcissist is attracted because the empath they'll try to be the people pleaser. Yes, narcissism at its finest. So the empath is the people pleaser most of the time, and they want to help in any way they can. And generally what happens is, at first in a relationship with a narcissist, things are going well. You're giving them crazy amounts of attention. They love it. You know, you don't see the shortcomings as much. As time goes on, you start to see them for who they really are, and they hate that. They hate that they get caught in the game. Not yet, Angela. We're on Samantha right now, and then we're on to you right after Samantha. So, but does that sound similar to your situation, Samantha? Yeah, take another drink here. So, right here, Samantha, people come to this channel all the time with this kind of similar issue. And I'm not saying that to minimize what you're going through. I'm saying that so that you can understand there's a community here. A lot of other people have been through these kinds of situations, and you're not alone. And this person may have made you feel crazy. This person may have made you feel like you were worth nothing, especially at times where you needed them the most. But you're not, okay? That's crazy making. There's gaslighting. There's a lot of things going on here where this person will make you feel like you're crazy or unhinged. Sometimes they even do poking and prodding. And then when you react angrily, they say, see, you're crazy. Because they can do that. They can do that until we learn how to focus on healing ourselves and our wounds and what's been happening to us. We don't see these things as triggers. We don't understand what they're trying to do. But when we see it, when we detach ourselves a little bit, right, you blamed yourself so much. It's not. It's not your fault. That is not something that is ever put on the shoulders of just one person. He won't take responsibility for his actions, so he puts everything on you. You become the bad person. And then because of that, generally because of that, this person puts all this energy on you. You feel so defeated. You feel so neglected. You feel so alone because these people like to isolate you too. And when you feel that way, you're not going to leave the narcissist. More likely than not, you won't leave them because you already feel alone. And losing them, even though they are shitty people, feels like too much. Okay, it's not. That right there, Samantha, that right there, I just got the tingles. This is a huge point right here. You're wondering if you're narcissistic. A narcissist never even puts that question in their heads. They don't think they're narcissistic. They would never think that. I had a crisis of conscience years ago, and I said, I think I'm a bad person. I said this to my girlfriend, I feel like I'm a bad person. And then she said, you know what? Bad people don't think that way. Bad people are just bad people. They don't focus on being bad. And so from that, I learned I was a good person. I learned I was someone that had these good traits. But in this part, right here, you're going to feel confused. And right now, we've talked about this on the channel, you're going through a situation called cognitive dissonance. This is in a relationship scenario, though. So I want you to think of it like this. You're torn between two worlds. One of them is you being by yourself, maybe focusing on your healing journey, having something happen there. The other one is thinking of possible reconciliation with this person. And you're battling it out in your mind, if I can say that. I feel like you're battling it out in your mind, and you're trying to decide which would be best. Ultimately, it's better for us to choose our mental health. This person will not change. And what will happen? What will happen is this. The person will say they've changed, especially if we're very persistent with it. The person will say they've changed. They'll try to come back in our life, and they will be the same, if not worse, because we've already shown our true colors and that we won't put up with their behavior, so they can treat us worse. The second thing is that this person won't reach out to us, but they'll use their friends and their family to try to reach out to us. Why aren't you talking to so-and-so? I'm just saying sometimes that happens. It's called flying monkeys. So that's something that can happen. I'm going to use my friend Alex. Samantha, I blame myself for everything and I got left with the short end of the stick. I want to let go, but it's going to be hard. Honestly, reminds me of the twin flame dynamic thing. Okay, see, that right there, that's the difficult part too, because the narcissist likes to isolate and make it so that you're alone. And when you're alone, they are your everything. The narcissistic person is your everything. So him leaving is him trying to play this out. And I'm sorry that you're going through this. I'm sorry. This is incredibly difficult, and I am sorry that you're going through this. But that's what they do. They try to isolate you from other people, friends, family, everything. And when they do that, then they have control over you. In a way, you escaped. It probably doesn't feel like that now. It probably feels shitty now because this person wore down your self-confidence over time, steadily. And I'm sorry that was the case. And I feel like that's something that's it's just difficult to try to put into words, right? And that's something that can happen. That's absolutely something that can happen. Whether you're in a narcissistic relationship or not, there can be that isolating. Right now, Samantha, I want you to be honest with me. I want you to be honest with me. What is it about this connection that you would want back? Because to me, if you had a friend or someone else that was going through this same situation that you're going through now and you saw how this person was treating them, would you put up with it? Would you say, oh, that's normal? Because you deserve so much more, but you've told yourself you don't. This is the hard part right here. This is the hardest part of the connection because they will make us feel like we are nothing. We're not. We're not. This is a power play from them. And I'm sorry again. I'm sorry, Samantha, that that's something you're going through. See that right there? That right there. That's ambiguity. That, okay. The ambiguity part. They try to focus on something in you. They try to vaguely make you feel uncomfortable all the time, right? If they vaguely make you feel uncomfortable all the time, you're feeling anxious, and then they tell you you're doing this, this, and this. Generally, people that grow up in a narcissistic household or grow up and they're in these kinds of connections, these people wear us down so much that we don't even trust our own memory. They tell us that we did something that we didn't do, but over time that wears down on us too, and we'll believe that we are these monsters and that we do these things, and we are not. But they have told us that we are, and because we have no one else to mirror us, because we've been isolated, we'll convince ourselves that we're crazy. You have no idea what you did. You didn't do anything. You did not do anything. This isn't about, this was him doing a power play on you, right? Okay, is he leaving me for... No, I'm going to tell you right now, Samantha, you give someone sex, you give someone that when they are being kind to you, when they are being loving, when they are embracing you, when they are showing you that they care. You do not owe someone sex. You don't. You never do. In a relationship, you do not owe it. And that's the part that's shitty. It wasn't on you. You were putting out the love. He wasn't. You kept giving and giving. He wasn't giving that back. It had nothing to do with you. I know it's personal. I know this hurts. But this isn't something that you did. This is something that the person is trying to kind of control your mind with, is making you think you did this and that. And it's not. And you never owe anyone sex. Ever. Ever. I'm going to say that until the cows come home. I don't care. Sorry. I don't care who it is. You never owe someone that. You once a week or whatever. If it happens, it happens. If things are going well, things are going well. I can understand, Samantha. Right, Ace of Swords moment. And I can understand, Samantha. I can understand how... And I'm sorry this is going on. Because when there's that... When this person leaves us, a narcissistic connection, we feel entangled with them. And we've lost a part of our identity, a huge part of our identity in that relationship. Right? And when we lose a huge part of our identity, when they leave, we feel as if we will fall apart because we don't know who we are and we have to rediscover who we are again. But to me, this is a huge blessing because you can see things more clearly. Maybe not now. Maybe it doesn't feel that way now. But this person showed their true colors. And eventually that will be something that you'll be grateful for because you didn't spend more than 10 years with this person. It wasn't anything that you did wrong. I would love you to step out of that mentality because you didn't do anything wrong. You just got with the wrong person. You got with someone who could not show you the love that you were showing them. But eventually, if we heal and we learn what this means, we can eventually attract the right partner for us because we've focused and we've healed our injured parts, right? And when we do that, we read, if we can go to therapy, if we can do anything, even just reading books. And Samantha, I'm sorry. Again, that's something that good people, okay? Good people don't do this to other people. If you leave a relationship, if you leave someone, if he wasn't narcissistic, he would let you know what was going on. You would have a clear-cut idea of what happened, why it happened. You know, there would be something going on because the person would be communicating with you. In time, it does get easier. But right now, yeah, this is hard. this is very hard, and I'm sorry that this is something that we had to go through. Generally speaking, these kinds of triggers, right? These happen, and they're touching something deeper. They're usually touching a childhood wound, and that's why these are harder for us to understand and for us to um, heal from, right? Because when we're focusing on healing ourselves, we have to go back to those moments, and the most uncomfortable moments are the ones that give us the most growth. And so if we felt neglected or alone as a child, or if we felt like we didn't belong anywhere, that could be a reason why this hurts more now, is because it's re-triggering that wound. And so this is something, but with time, with time, all of this stuff can be resolved. It just takes time. It takes being gentle with ourselves, and it takes understanding ourselves more and more. But again, the gentleness is a huge part of that, because you didn't do anything wrong. And I just want you to know that. Yeah, it is. It is crazy. And when we have healed, then we no longer attract those people. When we've healed, we no longer attract those people in our lives anymore, because we can see what they look like. We can see how they act. We can see what's going on. But right now, this is a moment of transformation, and transformation, by definition, is incredibly uncomfortable, and it's going to be hard. And I'm sorry this kind of catapulted you in that direction of not. Yeah, and they will. That's something where um, that's something that they're going to leave you in, absolutely. Because like you said, it makes you feel worse. This person right now, they're playing a psychological game. They're trying to make you feel very, very uncomfortable, and they want to see that. They want to see you hurting. They want to see that, and I know that's probably not easy to hear. But when we disconnect from this, eventually we disconnect from this energy, things will get a lot easier. Things can get easier. But right now, it's difficult, right? It's it's just a very difficult thing, no matter how you're looking at it. But there's a bright side in knowing that we didn't spend more of our life with this person. Yes, there can be a mourning period, which is something that we can talk about. I'll go into this briefly. There's a YouTube video on it. I know you're tired. You're probably pretty tired, so I'll just sum it up like this. When we're in a relationship and another person leaves us suddenly, or there's a breakup, or the person dies even, there can be many reasons, but we go through a form of grieving, just as if someone had died. And when we're going through that, we need to go through the grieving process of grieving a future that we never had together. So not going here or there for vacation, or not starting this or a family, or not doing this or whatever. That can be something that is very difficult, because we have to mourn that part, right? Samantha, you're okay. You're okay. When you're here, you're safe. I want this to be a safe space for you, so don't feel that it's too much, right? But the grieving process is hugely important. We have to grieve for the future that we don't have with this person. And we have to treat it as if it's a death, because the connection we had before is no longer there. And that takes time. That does take time. And on that journey, I always stress it: gentleness, gentleness, gentleness. I need to make t-shirts that just say gentleness, kindness. Like, I need to do something like that, because that's how strongly I believe in it. That's the only thing that I feel like is real change, is when we can speak to ourselves in our heads in a gentle voice. That heals us more than anything else can. I promise you guys. That gives us something back. That gives us our identity. That gives us our anonymity. That gives us our sense of self back. Our, not anonymity, our autonomy. That gives us our autonomy back. In time, it becomes better. Samantha, if you want to learn about this, you're very welcome, Samantha. You're always welcome. If you want to learn more about this, I can give you some resources. This isn't an easy time in your life, but knowing that other people have gone through similar situations, I feel like could help. And if someone is talking us through kind of a game plan of what this recovery could look like, I feel like that would help too. Because you're going to be going in between a place of feeling like you're crazy and feeling like you did something very, very wrong, not knowing what it is, but you feel like you did something wrong, and feeling okay. And that's going to be going on for a while. And I want you, if you have resources, if you have the tools to be able to look at what this is objectively, it makes it a lot easier. I just don't want you to think that you're alone in this, because you're not. It probably feels that way, but you're not alone. So hopefully that helps, even though I know that probably wasn't what you wanted to hear, but I try to bring honest messages. You're welcome, Samantha. You're very, very welcome. Okay, let me see here. So you guys, I'm going to be right back. Angela, get your questions ready, and I will be back, and we'll go from there. So I'm just going to do this. Hell yeah, we're a great community, guys. That's what it's all about. And King Kwan, perfect summary there. Bring up those emotions. Let's transmute that. Let's transmute what we're feeling into something actionable. That's the huge part of this. Okay, so let's see. You are doing good. Angela, you're doing good. Okay? Like I was talking about, cognitive dissonance. The idea of holding two ideas in your head at the same time, both of which you want to be true. The reason why it's painful is because the ideas are diametrically opposed. The ideas are going in very different directions. So it's uncomfortable. That's why you're saying it's so hard. We're kind of going back and forth, not necessarily in wanting to keep him, wanting to do this, but it's like even if it was a breakup, even if something happened, we're always thinking about it. We're always thinking, how could we have handled things? What could have gone differently? So let's look at that. Let's look at, so ran into Steven Friday at work. Of course, he didn't speak or say anything. What was he thinking when he saw me? Okay. Let's look at that. What was Steven thinking when he saw Angela? Yeah, that does sound like something that would be kind of shocking, wouldn't it? That's good. That's what you want. Not seeing them until then. I'm almost wondering if there's a friend of his and you could just drop the TV off at his friend's or parents' house or something. I'm wondering if there's somewhere you could drop that TV off. But let me look here and see, what does he think? What was he thinking when he saw you? What was Steven thinking when he saw Angela? Oh, thank you, King Kwan. Thank you, my friend. His people are in Chicago. Okay, okay, I understand that. I was thinking if there was somebody. Let me, Okay, King Kwan, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. You are on after Angela here. Okay, so let's do... Thank you again, buddy, for the... I think that's what you're doing, the hang loose sign. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing with that, but that is a deadly weapon as far as I'm concerned. Whew. Okay. So let's do this here. Let's see what we're feeling here for Angela. What is Steven thinking about... What was Steven thinking when he saw Angela? What was Steven thinking when he saw Angela? Okay, so we had this card right here, 7th Chakra, Archangel Uriel in reverse, which I think we've gotten in a similar Steven question before. So, let's see here. The 7th Chakra, Archangel Uriel in reverse. This card to me is someone who, when they saw you, they were trying to think as nonchalant or as little of you as they could. I feel like this person, when they saw you, they were thinking, I'm going to make this person feel bad for what they did, or I'm going to make this person kind of pay for what they did. So I'm feeling like this person intentionally is kind of going out of their way to kind of throw in that little jab kind of a thing, because there was no conversation, there was nothing going on here. So when I see this card, I feel like this person is just trying to make you feel little, right? That's what I'm seeing here. So I don't feel like there's anything that he's thinking that's positive. I'm feeling like this person is trying to think of how to make you feel less than, or how to make you feel uneasy during something. It just, to me, that's what I'm feeling with this card here, because we're not coming from an intuitive, flowing state. This person is coming from a place where they're not feeling very nice. Let me put it that way. And it was nothing that you did, Angela. That's how it is, King Kwan. When we're talking about these, here's the funny thing slash not funny thing. Narcissistic people like to think that they're individual. Their behaviors, I mean, they're in textbooks, and they all act the same way. Basically, think of a zombie from The Walking Dead, but instead of going they don't do that part, but they need people to feed on. That's what these narcissistic people are, right? That's kind of what they're doing, and it's textbook. These people are all about ego gratification and narcissistic supply wherever they can get it. So that's kind of where it's from. It's every narcissist has a play-by-play. And there's even different kinds of narcissists, but again, that's a subject for another time. But that's something that is going on here. So Angela, so far, does that make sense? You're doing the right thing, Angela. You did the right thing, because now you can focus more on you and not having someone there that was okay, just not a good match. Because you deserve something better, right? And in order for us to get something better, we have to clear away what no longer works. There's no shame, there's no judgment. From me, there's just us focusing on a brighter, right, a user, yes. And we're focusing on a brighter tomorrow. We're focusing on making ourselves better. And that's the difference. A narcissist will never focus on self-improvement or making themselves better to make themselves better. They do things for attention. They do things for other people to validate them. And we're no longer giving that anymore. And when we're on that journey, trust me, eventually it gets really peaceful. It does, because you get rid of all the people in your life that are just, like you said, Angela, that are users, people that are just into self-gratification, and that's it. And when all of those people are gone, we can start our healing journey, and we can see what that looks like for us. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. So you said the other question here was, where is Steven staying, and why has he not come to get his TV? I'm trying to release this. Something in me is feeling like, because you did something, you took charge of your own life, and there's a part of us, we don't want to have people mad at us. This person is making it kind of a personal thing, and he was the one that wasted your time. He was the one that was a bad match. But if he's mad at you, then it makes it so that you're questioning yourself. And you came on here and you're wondering about him. So there must have been something where that kind of tapped in, right? Because there's still something there. Eventually it gets easier. It does get easier. So you said, why hasn't he come to get his TV? My feeling right here, my gut feeling, is he's going to wait until things have calmed down with you. And then when you're feeling kind of better about the situation, or maybe you're looking at something, basically when you're completely off guard, he's going to try and come and grab that TV. And I feel like when he does, there's going to be something where this person's going to maybe try and make a comeback. They're going to try to come back in your life in some way. So I'm feeling like he's waiting until a future time, because like you said, as long as you hold that TV, he has access to you to get the TV. So I would almost say, if there's like a situation where you could put the TV in a garage, or you could put it somewhere where it's not in your house, and then when he comes to get it, have a friend with you, have something where there's no chance for an intimate conversation if this person comes back to get their TV, because they can use that as a portal to get back into your house and to talk to you. And I'm feeling like he's going to wait until you're starting to not feel. I'm gonna say, when you're feeling better about your situation, where is he staying? That's a good question. Let's see. I'll see if I can get anything psychically. So does he have money on him? Because something is telling me there could be something where he's staying. I feel like he's staying with friends, or he's staying with a friend more than anything. I mean, there could be a hotel room situation, but I'm just going to do this here, so give me a second. I'll tune in psychically and see what I can find. Okay. That's good that you don't know. Because then it means you're not involved, which is perfect. That's where we want to be. Let's see. I'm wondering if there's another person, maybe a female. I'm not sure. Um, but it feels like there could be another influence like that. Uh, but again, I'm not sure. What I'm feeling when I tune into this situation is that this person's kind of roughing it. They're kind of sloughing it around. I don't feel there's any permanent place for this person. They're just sort of, okay. Hazel, she has a beautiful butt, but I don't think we want to see it right now. But I feel like there could be another person. No, it doesn't. It doesn't feel good. Of course it doesn't feel good. I would honestly say plan, I mean, like I said, if there's friends, if there's family that you can have, if this person comes over to grab their stuff, that's going to be something that you can do. That's going to be something where you can make it so there's no conversation to be had. Or eventually an alternative or an ultimatum where you come get this or I'm selling it. Or you come, eventually, you can do something like that to just get it out of the house so that this person doesn't have access to you. Probably every time you see it, I'm sure it makes you think of him and it triggers more emotion. So I can understand wanting to get rid of it. I can understand that. If there's any way you can put it in a closet or hide it somewhere so you're not looking at it all the time, that would be nice. Just so that you can work on your healing and your recovery, right? Because his possessions, I've talked about this, but his possessions kind of feel like they're possessing you. Every time you look at them, you're thinking of him, right? That's a different way of looking at it, but that's what I'm. So I do feel like he's kind of bumming around. I feel like he's kind of focusing on staying adrift in this kind of undulating sea, so to speak, of not knowing where to go next, not knowing what to do necessarily. That's his journey, though, because he kind of blew it when it comes to just being there for you. So let him go through that and let him find his own, let him swim in his own crapulence, so to speak. Let him swim in what it is that he made, because no longer are you in that pool with him. He can just do his own thing. And I know that you'll have hard days, Angela, and know that that's normal. That's something I want you to understand, is that the bad days are normal. Normalize those feelings and be gentle with yourself when you're having those feelings. Realize there's nothing wrong with you. You're just healing. And when we're healing, sometimes it's a very messy process. So I just want you to know there's nothing wrong with you as a person, but you will go through anger, confusion. You'll go through that. I feel like there's a pretty strong possibility he could try. That's a good question. That is a very good question. I would feel like it would be to get more supply or to get more something. It's not for love. It's not like a love. Like, he's not coming back to say I love you. I feel like he would come back to try and get other things from you. Try to get more from you. Maybe trying to get a connection back with you, like maybe an intimate connection, or trying to do something where this person's trying to sneak back into your life. And so I have a feeling that could be what happens. And it's not going to be a good thing. This person's not coming back to say, I'm sorry, I'll change. He'll come back. And I have a feeling if you let him back in an intimate way, and you're in a relationship again with this person, I have a feeling, here's what would happen. Number one, you could never talk about why you broke up in the first place. And you could never resolve any of those old issues. So he would do everything he's done before, but now it's going to be worse. Because now there's like a vengeful part to it. And this person's going to act out even more so. That's what I'm feeling here. Because it's... But I'll ask the cards here. So why would he come back? Why would Stephen come back to Angela? Cards. One more shuffle. Okay. We got our cards right here. Let's do this. Okay. You should be, Angela. 100% you should be. And let yourself feel angry. Let yourself feel upset. Remember that feeling so that you don't, you understand why you're going through this. It's to learn lessons. It's to learn we're worth more than that. And yeah, I'm still taking donations, Malibu. Okay. So right here, I said, why would he be coming back? And I get the strategy right here. That's what it says. I'm having a hard time focusing. Anyway, so yes, you're just trying to heal. So the strategy card in a love situation, I feel like it's a game to this person. And I feel like it's a game they want to win at. And so they're going to try to come back to try to win the game. To you, it's life. To you, it's, oh, hi, Elizabeth, how are you doing? To you, it's something that's deeply, this is a deeply personal thing for you. You're trying to focus on healing. You're trying to focus on helping yourself, right? And this person sees it as just a game. They're just going to mess around with you. And so that, to me, is something that I feel like, and you know this, Angela, I know you do. Doing good. Definitely doing good. But, okay. So does that help answer your questions, Angela? Stay on your path of healing. Stay on that. You're doing good. These feelings are normal. I don't want you to think you're going backwards. You'll have days where you are very frustrated, and that's normal. That's part of the process. Absolutely, he has issues. Remember all the reasons. Our brain tends to think of all the reasons why we like somebody. But in these situations, sometimes, we really need to focus on what they did that was wrong so that we can understand that we don't repeat that again. So yeah, it's a process. It's a journey. And it takes time. So hopefully that helped address your questions, Angela. And I think I'm going to move on to King Kwan here. And let's see. Oh, one last thing. Okay, go for it, Angela. Sure. Yeah, King Kwan, you go ahead. I don't know why anyone wouldn't be. To me, it's the dumbest thing. Who cares what happens in someone's bedroom? The love, that's important, right? That's so much more. Don't get me started on that because you guys have every right to exist. Or same sex, yeah, anyway. I'm going everywhere with that. Yes, you can ask those questions. You guys can feel free to ask anything. Especially that. You guys can feel safe here. Trust me, I'm all for it. Is he coming to get his TV in the next 2 weeks? Okay, let's look at that. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Will he come to get his TV in the next 2 weeks? Will he come to get his TV in the next 2 weeks? And go ahead, King Kwan, to start writing your questions. That way we can just jump into the next one. Okay, so from these cards here, This part for me, this is more of a psychic message. I can read it literally, but I'm feeling like it's not going to be 2 weeks. It feels to me like it's going to be more like 3 weeks. It could be 3 weeks to a month. I'm feeling like this person's going to try and reach out. Maybe not grab the TV necessarily, but I do feel like that could be a topic that comes up. Thank you, Malibu. I appreciate that, my friend. Because I got envy. I got envy in reverse. Then I got third chakra Archangel Shamuel. And then I got the garden and the gate. So when I'm seeing this, I feel like the grass is greener on the other side. I feel like this person is feeling like they can kind of come back in whenever they want. I'm feeling like this person is going to try to... sorry, I'm trying to get the camera to focus. I feel like this person is going to try to come into your life until you establish boundaries. And when you kick them out, that was really good. But I feel like this person is still going to test you in other areas, like coming back for the TV, like doing this kinds of thing. But I'm feeling like about 3 weeks to a month, I feel like there could be something going on there. And like I said, around the time where you're starting to feel a little more comfortable, like things are going okay, I do feel like this person's going to come back. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm just trying to get it to... There we go. So hopefully that helps answer your question, Angela. And let me look here. Yes, thank you very much, Malibu. Thank you very, very much. I'll put you on the list here. Okay. All right. So I'm going to look at your question, King Kwan, here. And see what we get. All right, so, okay, I confessed my feelings to my friend Anthony and ghosted me. We had a strong friendship, but after I opened up, he left. I'm wondering what was the reason for him leaving. All right, let's look at that. What was the reason for... We'll use the Energy Oracle here for this one, King Kwan. What was the reason for Anthony leaving? What was the reason for Anthony leaving? What was the reason for Anthony leaving? Wow. That's really weird. Man, okay, so I'm going to show you these cards, King Kwan. This is interesting, right? You seem to be a knowledgeable person on the tarot. So, you said the Ace of Swords earlier. The symbology here is pretty fascinating. So you said, why did he leave? And then I literally get walking away. This one is in reverse. Okay, so walking away. Then I get storm warning in reverse. And then I get anxiety in reverse. So I get a feeling that this person, Anthony, is not, and maybe I'm wrong. So, King, if you can fill me in here, is this person not emotionally open? Is this person someone who's more standoffish with their emotion, or who's more stoic, not non-expressive? Is that this person? He's definitely closed off emotionally. Okay, so that right there is a huge part of this. So you did nothing wrong. I'm going to say this right now. You did nothing wrong. But I am going to say this. When you told him your emotions for him, it was like a tidal wave, and this person isn't even out of the kiddie pool. Oh, does that make sense? This person is kind of frolicking, doing their thing, and then you kind of laid it on, and this person wasn't ready to receive that. It's kind of like, well, like I said, tidal wave, kiddie pool kind of scenario. That's what I'm feeling here. So I'm feeling like it was just kind of maybe too much too fast would be the way I would describe that. Can I ask you, King Kwan, can I tune into you psychically and see what I get? Makes sense. You said it out of no. Well, yeah, there you go. Okay. Maybe you're not completely innocent, King Kwan, if you kind of just lay stuff like that on people. You're good though, man. You're good. But that to me is something where um, you have emotional maturity, and I feel like you're a good person, and you feel like other people have emotional maturity. Does that make sense? Because when we come from an emotionally mature place, we view other people as being that way. Kind of like when we're good people, we view other people as being good, always, without a fault. We always view people as being good because we're good people. So there can be a tendency to see things in a way that it's like we felt like they could handle it, right? So that's what I'm feeling there. Now, let me take a drink here. Hold on. Oh, okay. All right, so then we have. So, did this happen? Did this happen on the 17th? I feel like something happened on the 17th. The first thing I'm getting is the 17th, and I feel like it was this month, but maybe it could have been, um, maybe it could have been another month. But it does feel like 17 is significant. And the name, and I'm a practicing psychic medium, which means I'm still learning, I'm still practicing. Kind of like how a doctor says they're a practicing doctor. That frightens the hell out of me that they're practicing on us. But think of me the same way. I don't have it all figured out. I'm still learning with my psychic stuff. So if I get stuff wrong, call me out on it, please. It's the only way I learn. Um, but I do feel like the 17 is significant for some reason when I'm focusing on your connection. Um, it's just a number though, so. Mm. Okay. 17th was the last time you talked to him. Okay, so I knew that date was significant. That was something I could feel. So the thing I think we can focus on with this is that we have you very, very emotionally expressive. That's what I feel. When I'm focusing on your energy, there's a progressiveness. I saw in my mind radiating flowers, which to me is radiating a sense of emotional kind of abundance. You have a self-awareness, you have like this kind of sense about yourself. Okay? Um, I'm feeling like you have what would I call it? It's like emotional genius. I feel like you get emotions. That's something that you can understand. That's something you can flow with. You understand it's not permanent, and you were demonstrating that earlier in the chat. So that's good. That's good that you're radiating this. But I feel like there's a tendency to focus on men who are emotionally unavailable. And I feel like we do that because we don't know what it would look like to possibly be in something a little more um, like concrete. I do feel like there's that emotional unavailableness that we're attracted to, and it could be because of our father, it could be because of our mother, but there's this tendency to want the thing that we can't have because it runs. And then there can be something where we can feel that love happens only through drama. Sometimes. I'm using this as an example, and that can be where we feel love is through drama or through a sense of conflict. And I'm feeling like you're getting too old for that. I'm feeling like you're getting to a point now in your life where you don't want to play games. You want to focus on building something. Does any of that make sense, King Kwan? And if you want to tell me to blow it out my ass, by all means. But I'm just saying, does it make sense so far? Okay. Okay, so that's what I've got for you for that question. It was too much too fast. Give this person some time and maybe see what happens. But I get the feeling. I get the feeling we're really focusing. You said you're focusing on developing the divine masculine, the divine feminine, and putting them together. I get the feeling that there is, and again, King Kwan, if I'm wrong, please tell me. I get the feeling that there can be some self-sabotaging going on because we set ourselves up in situations that a part of us knows won't work, but another part of us just goes ahead. And I'm feeling like we're getting ready to learn that lesson. I'm feeling like we're starting to, like you said, we're going to take it to that next level. So that's good. That's good. You're looking at the areas that you can shore up, right? Because I don't feel like any part of us is weak, but I do feel like there's parts of us that need examination. Um, and there's parts of us that need to understand kind of what to do with this. So that's what I'm feeling like here. And self sabotaging, there can be, in my opinion, it's the fear of change, because both of these things are the same. We have a fear of failure, we have a fear of success as humans. These are things we can be scared of. There's many other things, like spiders. We talked about that earlier. But when we're talking about these two, fear of failure, fear of success, both of these are the same fear. They are the fear of change. They are the fear of progress. We don't know what progress could look like. And sometimes, yeah, okay, so sometimes when we're focusing on healing ourselves, we need to focus on why it is that we fear change. Change is unknown, change is scary, but change is also absolutely necessary to being part of the human race. Without change, we go nowhere. Without change, we stagnate. And King Kwan, you're not someone who would stagnate. You're someone who wants progress. But we get in our own way. We get in our own way to finding that. So, is that all making sense? What shift of change? Okay. Primarily, King Kwan. Okay, okay. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That's your second question. I realize you're not someone who would blow smoke up my ass. I understand. I'm using, anyway. I understand that you're that person. I can trust your honesty with that. So thank you. I do appreciate that. But I feel like we are. I feel like we're this treasure. I feel like we're this kind of jewel, and we keep putting ourselves in the presence of thieves that do not understand our value. Does that kind of click there? I feel like we put ourselves in situations where we will be undervalued again because of the fear of success. So when we focus on that healing journey, that's going to be what we're talking about more than anything for you, is that there is this narrative in our heads where maybe we don't deserve what we want. Maybe we deserve less than. Maybe we deserve nothing. And until we work on our self-esteem and build up our confidence, we're not going to understand what it feels like to feel like we can actually have something, like we can possess success and we can have those things. Because success isn't just for other people. Success is for everyone. It's not a luxury, it's a right. And that's something that we need to focus on. When we're talking about self-care, we're talking about taking care of the self, which means the emotional needs, the mental needs, okay, the physical needs. We're focusing on taking care of us. Whew. Okay, so let's move on to his second question. Oh. And once we heal that, So there's the people pleasing part that I was telling you about. And the reason why these people are so interesting, the reason why we keep falling for the same people over and over again, is because we want to make them happy. And they keep showing their disinterest, and they keep calling us names. And we view that as love. We view that as love. Let that sink in. That's the most conditional thing I've ever heard of. But we view it that way because we grew up in a household that didn't have those kinds of values, and we didn't get to learn those things. Generally, we learn stuff like this when we're growing up. Right now, we're unlearning what doesn't work for us, and we're relearning what we can do to change ourselves. So this part is difficult. This is the part. This is the struggle. This is the journey, right? Okay, so let's go on into the second question. What change is coming your way? Okay. I'll grab this card here. We learn as we go. I want you guys to understand this part too. On the journey of spiritual healing, don't wait. Don't wait to start that journey. Just start. However it is, however small it is, whatever it means to you, just start. A lot of us will wait until it's the perfect time. It will never be the perfect time. There's never a perfect time for anything until we make it so. So I want you guys to understand that we have to take initiative and responsibility for our own healing journey. Everyone's been doing great. I'm not calling anybody out, but I'm saying that we have to realize that we are the instigator of the change that we seek. We are the person that gets that change. Maybe instigator wasn't the best word used, but we're the person that incites the change. We're the person that excites the change. But we have to be willing to change for change. Does that make sense? In order for us to change, we have to be adaptable, and we have to change our viewpoint, because that's what gives us life. Okay, so on to the second question here. Sorry if I, as King Kwan was saying earlier, I do tend to preach, and maybe, I don't know, I do enjoy doing that, though. So. Okay. Okay, perfect, my friend, perfect. Okay. Ultimately, that's the answer to the second question, actually, the more I'm thinking about it. So, on your healing journey, the shift, the change that we're talking about, you're going to be encountering situations where it's going to be really easy for you to choose not to love yourself. But you're not going to do that. You're going to allow yourself to be in alignment. Oh, thank you, King Kwan. You're very kind. Thank you. But let's see, what was I saying? That one threw me off. That threw me off a little bit. So let's see. Okay, another psychic message that came in was that this will happen swiftly. The shadow will happen. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so we're going to have a shadow that happens, that comes in, and this happens quickly. The shadow is the parts of ourselves we haven't healed. The shadow is a part of us that exists, that has been turned into this gnarled, ugly creature. Okay? And as soon as we start looking at it and start recognizing it and realizing what it is, it shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. Because what it's doing is it's making itself more and more terrifying, because it wants you to look at it. Not because it doesn't want you to look at it, it's asking for help, and that is the only way your shadow self, your self, knows how to ask for help with the parts that we aren't integrating. You're saying so badly, I want to heal, I want to feel, I want to have what's coming next, and it's saying, okay, then look at this. Please look at this. Please look at this. King Kwan, does that make sense? Because that's what we're focusing on here. We're healing the shadow, and you're going to have a lot of situations where we're going to be focusing on healing the shadow. And that means different things for different people. But for you personally, self-love. You give it to other people. You give your love to other people. You give